Once upon a time, in a faraway village nestled between rolling hills and a dense forest lived a young shepherd named Billy Eilish. Now, Billy was known throughout the village for his mischievous nature and his uncanny ability to get into trouble. One sunny afternoon, as Billy tended to his flock of sheep near the edge of the woods, he started to feel bored. The peaceful bleating of the sheep and the gentle rustling of leaves in the nearby trees couldn't keep him entertained for long. So he decided to play a little joke on the villagers. With a mischievous grin spreading across his face, Billy Eilish pretended to be attacked by a ferocious wolf. "Help! Help!" he cried out, his voice echoing through the valley. "A wolf is attacking my sheep. Please come quickly!" Hearing his desperate pleas, the villagers dropped their tools and rushed to his aid, only to find Billy Eilish standing there with a stick, his clothes slightly torn, and not a single wolf in sight. "Looks like someone's playing tricks again," said one of the villagers, shaking his head in disappointment. But Billy Eilish just laughed and told them it was just a prank. This continued for several days. Every now and then, Billy would raise the alarm claiming that a hungry wolf was after his sheep, only to be met with the same response from the villagers. They would come running, worried and prepared to defend him and his sheep, only to find it was all a hoax. Each time, Billy Eilish's laughter echoed through the valley, carrying with it the sound of their own foolishness. Meanwhile, somewhere deep within the forest, an actual wolf had been watching the village and its people with keen interest. He had seen Billy Eilish's antics and heard the villagers' response to his false alarms. The wolf had never been this close to human habitation before and was curious about these strange hairless apes who lived in the village. One evening, as the sun began its descent and long shadows stretched across the land, the wolf decided to pay the villagers a visit. He had heard their sounds and was eager to see what all the commotion was about. As the villagers went about their evening routines, unaware of the danger lurking at their doorstep, the wolf approached cautiously. He had no intention of harming anyone, just observing them from a distance. Suddenly, Billy Eilish saw the wolf and in a moment of panic and realization, he knew this was no figment of his imagination. It was a real wolf. And worse still, his prank had caused the villagers to ignore a genuine warning. Without hesitation, he ran towards the village, shouting as loud as he could, "Help! Help! A real wolf is here!" His voice carried a desperation that was impossible to ignore. But unfortunately, the villagers paid no heed to his cries. They had grown tired of his pranks and assumed it was another one of his tricks. Some even peeked out of their windows and yelled, "Go away, Billy! You're just trying to scare us again!" As the wolf approached the village, the sight that greeted him was both strange and fascinating. These hairless apes were making no attempt to defend themselves against him. Instead, they were peering out from behind their wooden shutters or simply paying no attention at all. The wolf felt a surge of anger and frustration. He had come in peace, intending only to observe them, but their ignorance and amusement were infuriating. With a snarl, he began to prowl through the village, easily getting into each house. The villagers, finally realizing the next morning that their homes had been violated, started to panic. Meanwhile, Billy Eilish, filled with remorse for his actions, left the village and sought refuge in the forest. Here he encountered a wise old owl perched on a branch, silently observing the happenings below. Seeing Billy Eilish's crestfallen figure, the owl hooted softly and asked him what was wrong. Billy Eilish poured out his heart to the owl, explaining how his lies had caused the villagers to ignore the real danger and how his actions had put their lives at risk. The owl listened patiently, and when Billy finished his tale, it said, "My dear boy, your deceit has caught up with you, and now nobody believes even when you tell the truth. This is the consequence of your actions. You have lost their trust, and now you must face the consequences." As the first rays of sunlight touched the forest floor, Billie Eilish realized the gravity of his mistake. His thoughtless actions had endangered not only himself, but everyone in the village. Determined to make amends, he turned back towards the village, ready to face whatever repercussions awaited him. Upon seeing Billy return, the villagers were filled with mixed emotions. Some were angry, some were disappointed, while others were simply shocked. But amidst the sea of faces, Billy spotted his mother. Relief washed over him as he noticed the concern and worry etched on her face. His mother, unlike the others, didn't seem angry. Instead, she was filled with a deep sense of worry for her son's well-being. Taking a step forward, she asked Billy what had happened, her voice laced with concern. With a heavy heart, Billy recounted everything to his mother, admitting his wrongdoing and the trouble he had caused. He explained how his constant lies had made the villagers disbelieve him when a real wolf appeared. As Billy spoke, his mother's expression remained steadfast. She listened patiently, her eyes filled with understanding. When he finished, she didn't scold him or show anger, but instead pulled him into a tight embrace. "It's all right, my son," she said softly. "We've all made mistakes. What matters most is that you learn from them. Now, let's go. We need to talk to the villagers." Together, they walked towards the center of the village, where the villagers had gathered to discuss what to do about the wolf. Billy's mother stepped forward and addressed the crowd. She explained how her son had been telling the truth about the wolf, but because of his previous pranks, they hadn't believed him. An uncomfortable silence fell over the crowd as they realized the gravity of their mistake. They had almost lost their chance to protect themselves because of their disbelief. Then one of the villagers, an older woman who had known Billy since he was a baby, spoke up. "We are sorry, Billy," she said. "We should have listened to you. We were wrong to think you were lying." Billy's mother nodded. "Yes, you were right, Billy. And we appreciate you trying to warn us. From now on, we will believe you when you tell the truth, no matter what." Relieved and grateful, Billie Eilish hugged his mother tightly. He had learned a valuable lesson about the importance of honesty and the consequences of lying. From that day forward, Billie Eilish became known throughout the village not just for his pranks, but also for his honesty and courage. The villagers never forgot the day the wolf came to town, and they made sure that Billy's warnings were always taken seriously. And though Billy missed his days of harmless pranks, he understood that his actions had real-world consequences and that honesty was the best policy. The story of the boy who cried wolf serves as a timeless reminder for all of us that lying can have serious consequences. It teaches us that once we lose people's trust through our dishonesty, it can be difficult to regain it. The boy's repeated lies about the wolf caused the villagers to ignore him when there was a real threat, leading to potential danger for everyone. It also highlights the importance of being truthful and the value of trust in our relationships. When we lie, even if it's for fun or to avoid trouble, it can damage our credibility and make it harder for others to believe us in the future. Moreover, the story emphasizes the need to take others' warnings seriously. The villagers' failure to heed the boy's cries about the wolf resulted in their homes being compromised. It reminds us that disregarding warnings or assuming that someone is lying can have negative consequences. So let this classic fable serve as a guiding light, reminding us to be honest, trustworthy, and attentive to the words of others. Remember, in a world where honesty is often forgotten, it is the cornerstone of trust and the foundation of strong relationships. And by embracing honesty in our lives, we can build a better future for ourselves and those around us.